Hey guys, I've got an awesome metal riff for you to learn today, and this is going to help you get better and more accurate, more importantly, more accurate at your down picking. So this isn't just the typical, let's see how fast we can down pick, chun, 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 chun. Okay, it's much more than that, and you'll see what I'm talking about and hear what I'm talking about by the nature of how you're going to play this riff that you're about to learn. So let's hear it in the full mix, and then I'll break everything down for you. Now, real quick before we get started, for my Patreon supporters, you have the backing tracks, both versions of full mix and the one with just the bass and drums, and the tabs to download. So that is out there now. Guys, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, it's another way you can support what I do, and of course, I greatly appreciate that. Basically, what I do real quick is I give you the tabs you can download and some backing tracks to at least 2 of my YouTube lessons per month. I think January here, this is the 3rd one, so you guys got an extra one this month. But yeah, the link is in the description of this video. And also hang around after the lesson here because I'm gonna share something really cool about this guitar that you see me playing here. Alright guys, so there are 2 parts to this riff, if you may have noticed there. Now, let me just call out the chords that we're going to be playing, or what everything is based on. So we are in the key of A minor here, and the riffs are going to be based on the A power chord, F power chord, and G power chord. So let's get that down first. Okay, so I like to simplify that part of it, and we're not playing exactly that, obviously, but when you know the basic structure, it just makes things easier. We just kind of broke that down. You're like, okay, that's only 3 power chords we're playing. Of course, we're playing riffs, but they're based on what we just went over, those 3 power chords. So let's tackle this by learning, I guess, what would be the toughest part to play first. And this is where the down picking really starts to shine. This is what's going to help you get better and play with more accuracy. And what we're doing here, I'm just going to slow this part down. You'll notice we're doing downstrokes, okay, all down picking. We're not alternate picking at any point in this lesson here. We're playing these downstrokes between the A and the D string. So we're not just doing this. Okay, that's great. You can practice that and get faster and all that good stuff, but we're actually taking it up a notch, a few levels here by playing the downstrokes going back and forth between that A and the D string. So let me play this part slow. Don't pay attention to the F quite yet. I just had to finish it out so it sounded right. Pay attention to that, just that part right now. We'll get to the other. Pay attention to what I'm playing though, based on that A power chord. Okay, so you see what I'm doing. If you follow my picking hand, you see what I'm doing is a lot of back and forth. So we're keeping that A string open throughout the entire riff here. So that kind of helps break things down, makes things a little bit easier. Really the only movements on that D string, okay? And as we'll pick a single note, these are all single notes by the way, right? We'll pick that single fretted note on the D string, and then we'll jump back and forth between the single fretted note on the D string and the open A string. So just kind of think, kind of flopping back and forth. More than often, we're playing that palm muted A twice, okay? There are a few times we only play it once, you know, at the beginning, in the beginning, we're playing it twice. So let's go through that one more time. Let's just go through that really slow here, okay? I'll actually put the tabs across the screen here just so you can see that. Again, my Patreon supporters, you guys will be able to download this with the backing track and all, but I'll put the tabs across the screen for this part here, okay? Pretty simple for the most part. Really, it's just getting the cadence down to what I just played. And let me just make this point real quick. I'm not overly concerned that you get down exactly what I just did. This is just something I came up with on the fly. That's how these lessons happen. I have this blessing, yet sometimes it's a curse, that I'll just crank out a riff. Oftentimes I forget it after that, and I'll have to go back and listen to it later. I'm like, maybe I want to use this for a song or something. But anyway, so, you know, if you don't play it exactly like I do, the main thing I want you to get here is I want you to practice. So I'm going to give you another little piece to practice here, okay? If you're not quite at that level, if this is seeming difficult, I know some of you are going to take off with it, so we're going to get to the other pieces here. Those will be pretty simple, but let me just break this down for those who might be struggling with this. Instead of doing all what I just did, why not do this instead to start, okay? Listen to this. All I'm doing is kind of going back and forth between the second and third fret on that D string, and of course we're flopping back and forth with downpicking, downstrokes only here, okay? That's the point of this lesson, between the A and the D string. This is the part that really helps you with accuracy and making you better, is being able to play those downstrokes between two different strings. This is the magic of this lesson. So if you're still watching, thanks for hanging around, and I really hope this will help you, okay? I truly believe it will. Just start slow. Start with something simple. I just want you to get used to using two strings back and forth with your down picking, okay? That's really going to help build your accuracy up. I can't stress that enough, because it's one thing, again, to just palm mute on one string. Okay, pretty easy, not bad, it's a good place to start, but when you start implementing that other string, and with a single notes, that's really going to help ramp up your skill set there. Okay, so let's move forward. These next two chords that we're about to go over, they're very simple. It's just an F power chord and a G power chord, okay? In part one of the riff, we play what we just played earlier, and we end on the riff based on the F power chord. Part two, we end on the G power chord, but there's a little caveat here to these power chords, so listen to this. Two things. One, I'm not just playing the F power chord. Actually, we start that power chord by playing, we're on the E and A strings for this, by the way, for the F power chord, by playing frets 1 and 2, okay? Then we go to frets 1 and 3 to make the full power chord there. What I'm doing in between that, okay, and this is again where the palm muting and the downstrokes kind of come into play here. I play that chord, right? E and A string, frets 1 and 2. Then I do one downstroke palm mute in between on the first fret there, in between going from frets 1, 2 to 1, 3. So listen again. Part two, we end on a G power chord instead. Same concept, just different chord. And of course the frets that we're playing are just a little different here. So we did the 1, 2 to 1, 3 for the F, right? For the G, we're going to do 3, 3. These are the frets on the A, the E and the A string. We're going to do third fret, so I'll bar those, right? then we go for E5, and then we do that palm mute of that 3rd fret on the E string in between. So watch this. Cool, let's run through this one more time. Alright guys, so I told you in the beginning of this video I would share some cool information about this guitar here. So real quick, this is the Shroedder. It's a Marksman 87. That's the model. It's made by Mike Shroedder. He's an independent guitar maker in Hamburg, Germany. Whenever I say Hamburg, I always think of hamburger, and I'm hungry. That was a really bad pun, but I really am hungry. That's not a joke. Anyway, I want to share something with you about this guitar, something for you that you can expect coming up real soon. But before I do that, just want to remind my Patreon supporters, or if you want to join my Patreon, it's another great way to support what I do. You guys have the backing tracks and tabs to this lesson here. Also, if you're not in any of my guitar courses, I've got links to all of the stuff in the description of this video here. Back to the Shroedder guitar. This thing is awesome. What a beautiful finish. And I know a lot of you guys have been seeing this lately on YouTube here and my social media. I've been using this quite a bit lately. I have Mike on the channel. Mike Shroedder will be on the channel. I'm gonna leave the link to that video in the description of this video here. If you're watching this video here on its release date, which is, what's today? I think it's January 27th, 2022. If you're watching the video on this day, this will premiere tomorrow on the 28th at noon Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're on if you're watching this today, or I mean today is today, but if you're watching this the day that I actually released it. If you're watching this after the fact, of course, you'll still be able to go to that link. I am going to keep that video out there because Mike is just such a cool dude. I had such an awesome time chatting with him. And what he's doing, he's basically taking you through some of the process of how he creates his own guitars. You know, a lot of you had some questions about that, like, man, how do I even get started with that? So he talks about that and talks about, you know, just how he creates these things. And of course, we actually go into this guitar towards the end of the chat as well, this specific guitar, some of the specs and that sort of thing. So it's just a really cool chat. It's really insightful. And again, Mike is just such a cool dude. So be sure to check that out. I'll go ahead and put it up here as well if you want to go to that now. Like I said, if you're watching this the day of this release, you will set your reminder. It'll take you to set your reminder. But if it's after that, of course, you'll be able to watch the video. So guys, we'll end by saying thank you so much for supporting my channel. Please like this. Also make sure you're subscribed. And hey, you know what to do until the next video. Keep it metal.